Hi, everybody. It's Lady Hippy here. Running a little bit late, not too bad, at least not for me. I've decided to go with the larger Acer that Rob just bought me, Chromebook, because it does help out. As you can see, I'm going to use this as a mirror. There's always a perk in everything. hmm hmm Even my coffee this morning, using a little bit of that, just a wee bit, Irish cream that Robert gets me. I don't use it always, but on certain days I do use a lot of it. Mm, Excuse me. Well, I've seen a lot today, and I'm not sure which way to go with any of it, truthfully. We are still showing biblical events, basically. I mean, camels flooding or floating through floods, Mecca people sliding around from the wind and the rain. And it's just been something different every day. Fires here, famine there, flooding over here, tsunami over here, earthquakes. Japan had 250 earthquakes in one day. 250. Don't you know I've done left that place? I, actually, it didn't do me much good because here in Georgia we get earthquakes too. I did not know that, but we do. They're not heavy, thank the Lord. I mean, but when you could hear it, that I don't know how to describe it. That it's like gravel in a mixer, but much much louder. Mm. So I said, okay, I'll check through this, see what we got on the live news today. Well, I can't say I was pleased or displeased. It's like any other day. News is a commodity that's hard to find lately. I did see where former President Trump was uh, kicking butt so much in the like the Iowa caucus. Not sure what that means because again, the Electoral College votes in the president. We don't, but it's interesting to watch the playoff. Everybody get crazy. So at the same time, they were finding him guilty of like 43 felonies. You can't make that stuff up. So you're assuming you've raided your former president's home. You've taken him to court 3 or 4 times, found him innocent. And this time you found him guilty on 43 counts of felony. They didn't say what felony. Maybe they didn't have enough room. I don't know. Mm. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore about my own country. I'll tell you the truth. I'm glad my grandson is no longer in the army, although I miss it still after all these years. But I'm glad he's not there. Um, that things are going so haywire over there that we're actually having to attack back in the Strait of Hormuz. This is battleship action. This isn't a light thing. You don't just go, oh, there's a little speedboat down there. They might have a weapon. Let's send a battleship crew. No, you don't do that. That's major stuff there. So they may not be saying it's a war, but in my book, if you got to pull out a battleship and start shooting at stuff 50 miles away, you got yourself a little war. I'm just saying. The poor hostages that they took, they still haven't found them. They were down to 100 and something, but they were told 25 were killed. Um, one little baby they took just turned a year old in captivity. So that's just unbelievable. They took him, he was 9 months old, if he's still alive. They're in these tunnels. They're keeping him in the tunnels where there's no air, there's no light. They won't even let him have light, apparently. Medicine, medical things, nothing like that. I understand that even the Red Crescent, Red Cross, none of the organizations have been able to get in. So this is just not, excuse me, this is not just on them. And it's not just the Palestinians. It looks to me like the Middle East is kind of on a global meltdown already. And that's not even including all the other elements to throw in that I just spoke of as biblical. Excuse me. We've been trying to get through what I've been calling the plague. We seem to have contracted it around the 29th to 30th of December. So that's putting us at 3-4 weeks that we've been ill. I mean, we might get, you have like plateaus, you get up a little bit and then down a ways. You just don't feel good. You don't want to move. You're cold when you move. You have a slight temperature, nothing to worry about, but you can't go anywhere and do anything because you could be highly contagious. You don't know. We have COVID-19 tests, so we know it's not COVID-19, but something is striking the youth, the teenagers in particularly, and the older people. That would be people like me. You see me move my boom mic around a lot, so it doesn't echo so much because I have a very loud voice. I'm a Chicagoan and Army, ex-Army or veteran of the Army, so I tend to talk fairly loud. Could be going deaf at my age. I'm never sure. I see my lovely flowers are in there too with my coffee. Robert brought me roses yesterday. He dashed out and masked up, and you can go and get it. They'll bring it to the door or whatever. Just like when my laptop crapped out with tornadoes coming through and stuff, picked a really good time. And still, Robert managed to find me one, even better, and have it sent to me. I literally wasn't without it for probably 12 hours. I mean, he instantly had another one here. You'll see me glancing off, by the way, from the camera. I have my kitten here, and she's deciding that she should inspect all of the light bulbs. However, she's on one of my lamps that my husband let me. He gave me several $1,000s and said, go buy stuff for the house. Get what you want. That was my wedding present. The last thing I have left of that are my lamps. And she's trying, she loves to, knock stuff down. And she does. This is her thing. I'd only seen this once in a commercial where the cats would, push a little bit, push a little bit, push, and then look as it falls down. She does this. You can spray her with water, you can yell. She just keeps going. I've never seen anything like it besides a commercial. She drives me crazy. She really is. She's a good cat, but other than throw everything off of everything, we were going to leave my whatnots on a shelf that we've had them on for 30 years and just added to it. It's a very big shelf system, and we're actually going to have to take that down and get me a curio cabinet instead, because it's going to have doors, because the cats like to knock stuff down. Apparently while I'm sleeping. I didn't think I could sleep through stuff like that, but I know it's the cat. I go back to sleep. One of these days I'm going to be in trouble because it's not the cat. I've been watching all of these things happening. I would again remind everybody one more time that this is for entertainment purposes only. And I would love it if you would hit the like button. You can subscribe by tickling that little bell a little bit. It's free to subscribe. It just helps me out with my numbers. I welcome any comments on anything at this point. I don't like to grab videos out and say, well, okay, let's watch Slapped Ham or Dark Ghost or things like this, Paranormal Twins. I love all that stuff, but that's not, I feel I'm cheating if I drop that in there, unless somebody really wants to see it, can't. And of course, everybody can on YouTube. It seems like all of us are doing a podcast now. I'm not sure what's up with that, but I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I wish I'd had this stuff when I was 20. I would have been unstoppable. So all of us have gone through this plateau, we thought, rather well. But it turns out not so much. One of our friends is still hospitalized, and my sister-in-law is also still hospitalized. So we've got prayers sent up for them. We don't know what's going on, and we're kind of worried. We had been through the COVID-19. I think we managed to somehow get the herd immunity, because, like I said, we'll plateau up and then come back down. And basically with Sudafed or Benadryl is taking care of that. And I use a lot of herbal remedies, so I like to make the turmeric ginger tea and sprinkle a little mint in there and some lemon. Oh, it's wonderful. I can see why the Brits like this so much, but this is still going to be my coffee. I usually have the coffee from like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning till 1 or 2. And then I realize, oh no, I'm still using coffee here. I should probably not have this much. Again, I have a wee dram of Irish coffee this morning. Excuse me. So I'm still getting used to doing these things. I'm still trying to get used to doing them live. I do get a few chats back, and I have opened the line. So if anybody wants to jump into the chat live, you can. Just follow the prompts, is what they tell me. Since I'm not on the other side of the camera, I always just like and subscribe. I must have 40 million because I like what they do. And it's so much easier than going on, say, and looking yourself for ghost videos. You can pull up, Nuke's Top 5 or Casper site, and again, these are great sites if you do like the paranormal. Dark Ghost, he's also a great one. It'll translate for you. I think he's Russian. Tim Morozov, I know he's Russian, and these guys get so stuff that make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I mean, I wouldn't have stayed. We all say we want to go ghost hunting, and then when the ghosts show up, it's time to go. See ya. We're done with this one. I mean, I agree with them. I'm like, when chairs are floating, I got to get out of here. This cannot be a good sign. And so I hate to drop a video like that unless there's a need to, or, because I have 100,000 people trying to find a particular video. I'm not going to do that because, again, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with finding anything somebody else wants to know about, but I don't want to just get up there and decide I'm going to drop all these and that's my stream for the day. I want it to be a podcast of like a round table. I wanted everybody to jump on, hit the like, for heaven's sakes. Give me an idea of what you want to talk about. Anything at all. I sure wanted somebody to talk to you about a ton of things, like the biblical stuff going on over there. Mecca, it's just wild. I still can't get over that camel floating by in TV. I can't. I never thought I'd see a camel float by. The house, and a couple more camels. This is for crying out loud. This was in the Saharan desert. Might as well have been. I think you could throw a rock and hit the desert. I mean, these guys get, quarter inch of rain for like decade, and there's a camel floating by, and so I can't unsee that vision. I cannot stop seeing that one. So if anybody want to talk about that, pop in. You can either hit the top chat, or I also usually post these on Facebook, so you can also do a like or a comment on Facebook. You don't have to join. You don't have to subscribe. If you do want to, you have to hit the little bell, and subscription is free. Once I get to a certain type of audience per se, and I have over 1,000 viewers, then it can be expanded and I could have Patreons. And I already had some ideas on some merchandise if anybody was interested in those. Once we get further down the road, still learning this, as one can see. One of the people that I've been wanting to interview on the air is also in the hospital. And so we're just leaving those prayers out there. My sister-in-law had to return to the hospital. She had been dismissed and fell ill a few hours later again. So they had to take her back to the hospital. So we're really worried about her. None of us are that young anymore, although we look absolutely fabulous, don't we? I just couldn't resist. It was... For me, it's kind of weird because I used to weigh 100 pounds. It didn't matter what I was doing, Army, it didn't care, 100 pounds. And suddenly I wasn't working. I'm fully retired now. I had quit smoking, and particular medications were given to me. I was off of anything narcotic. Unfortunately, one of the I love this. One of the side effects, when they get to the side effects, I usually go death, because it just covers everything. It's like pirate, When you say the word pirate, it's not coming out good. Not on your end, probably. So it cracks me up when we do this stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, how many of us had to go through that? I see Casper's site is on live as well. We all have times, and you can just go live at any time. Most of them have already picked a slot, and that's what they like. I rather like just popping through. Once I get an idea of what everybody would like to see or hear, then I'm going to go ahead and lock in a particular time and channel. Again, yesterday it was a day off, meaning that I had to sweep, mop, the whole house down, and wax and vacuum and shampoo and get all the rugs, and because we give the cats blankets as well when it's this cold. So everything has to be washed. Change up bedding, wash all that stuff. It's a lot of work. And Robert's really good about that. He knows how far I can push it. well, I start shaking from the pain, and then it really is. It's time for me to quit. And he's bought me so many different types of heating pads that it works. I can cover it from around my hips up to my neck, which is the all of that's bad, really bad pain. And I'm still looking forward to a surprise that he got for me. I've seen it, an RV, so I could travel again because I can't stay seated long because of my left leg and my back. So, and neck, we might as well throw that in too. So, yeah, I'm a little inhibited as far as where I go. I could do it anyway, but I really am not that good with pain. So, and so yesterday, of course, he knew I had done all that. So he took care of dinner and everything, helped out with that, grabbed some supplies. And so I didn't have to go, I like to get out and go to my local Walmart. It's 2 miles away. I get, I'm out there. I am a Chevy Cruze. I love this car. It looks like a little sports model, but I always think that, with the grandma driving, it's like one of the Vespas, down the road. So I only go 2.5 miles. So a round trip is like 5 miles. And I only want to do that like once every other week because people are crazy. I have to go through, or it's not through I-20, but it's right where I-20 will get on and get off. So it's right through the middle. And that's the only place I don't like because they tend to hit folk there. I don't know what that's about, but I've been going for this our 11th year, and I keep seeing and that's where the accident is always at. On the one side coming this way or this side going that way with 20 coming in the middle, you're going to get one of these two. I don't get it, but I get really nervous when I go through that section. And I don't like how they doubled and everything. And now with the Straits of Hormuz and the Red Sea and all that, we're going to attack. They're saying it's going to get higher. And, we're on a fixed income. We're both retired. Thank you, Lord. Yeah, we live that long. We might get some of our money back, like 1%. Hey, we think big. So at this point, we're retired. This is when you can enjoy. Well, for us, I mean, Robert's always a workaholic, and so it's going to be nice to be at home. And he's got this RV for me so that I have all the comforts of home. And if we want to go somewhere, I can actually lay down or get on the heating pad, whatever I need to do. So like I said, yesterday, he ran and got all the stuff for the cats for me, and my roses, my yellow roses, which I share with Tiger Rose, which is the kitty that grabbed Robert from a cage at Petco, and he called and asked if he could adopt the kitten. Well, of course he could. And we only had those two for a while. And then it seems to have branched out. I always want to say, hey, if anybody out there that is watching this broadcast, if you know of an animal, I can't say the word shelter, but an help animal organization, anyone that helps animals that doesn't hurt them or kill them, please throw it up in the comments because I'm here in Georgia. I don't like to quite say where I'm at, but I'm in Georgia. I do love Georgia, but it's blooming 19 degrees, by the way. I ain't. I thought to myself, when I feed the outdoor kitties, I run a sanctuary here, and we have no choice. They're dropping domesticated cats off. We assume, and Robert actually caught trying to do this. And domesticated cats are different than a cat that's even born outside. Even they are starving and hungry and scared. So you can imagine throwing a domesticated cat in the middle of all the other cats that are already there. So if it's a male, they're going to be fights, and it's just not good. So we've started taking care of them about 1.5 2 years ago, and it cost Robert a fortune, bless him. So I've been trying this entire time not only to help them, but to find them a home, a forever home. Can't find anything. You can call the ASPCA. You can call any of them. You can get right through on the computer. You can get right through on the phone. You can get right through and send your money too. That's it. There's no other way around it. You can either send money or get off the phone or get off the website, whatever you're doing, the website or whatever. That's as far as you're going to get. You can get to where you can send that money, but you cannot get to where we're going to help you because we raised all this money to do that. So if anyone out there, like I said, has some idea of a place that I can call, contact, or anything, please throw it in the comments. Altogether, we have 18 cats that were feeding, and it, believe me, is expensive. You can see one in the corner there. She crawled in my hand and was losing her eye. That is little Pixie, who's growing like a weed. And she's the one with no inhibitions. She keeps throwing stuff off with you going, stop that, stop that. And she'll look at you, stop what, her? And keep pushing it. And then she'll watch it as it falls. She's got to see it as it falls as well. She gets some kind of wicked pleasure out of that. It's crazy, I know. So, okay, we've covered most of what I caught on the news, except for what's going on with the Israelis, which everyone knows. I did mention the young child turning a year old in this mess. They want their hostages back. The world is saying stop the revenge war. I'm like, these people are still shooting missiles in. They blew up the Iron Dome. Now, that's not a small thing to do, to blow up the Israelis' Iron Dome. It's what's kept them safe for 30 years. These missiles are lobbed at them every day. These people have bomb shelters like they do or used to telephone booths. Actually, Great Britain probably still does. I love those red phone booths. It was so weird too, using different coins and things, and they're speaking in German, Italian. I love that part about it. When I was traveling, I was like, which of these coins are right? Is it the lira? Is it the mark? And they took all the fun out of that. They made it all one currency now. So that's disappointing. But it used to be a lot of fun to sit in one of the phone booths, just like Doctor Who. So you're looking for the right money and wondering if Doctor Who's going to show up. And that was my Tommy. Yes, they tend to want to be on TV or whatever this is, this media thing. So they start running around. They know there are two cameras trained on them. I'm using both, and there goes Pixie, the one I was telling you about that just likes to get into trouble. So I usually have to shoot her. Oh, there she goes. Yeah, it's just never easy around here. It's like having kids. As you can hear, that's Serenity chasing Tessie. It's never a dull moment around here, I must admit. Both of us sick. Robert fell out first, and for Robert to get sick, it's really bad because that man doesn't even take aspirin half the time. He might take a goody powder, but he's usually never sick. So when he comes down with something, I'm thinking, okay, here we go, because I catch everything. If somebody sneezes in 3 counties over, I get sick the next day. So I have no immune system whatsoever. And so here we are, and we're trying to enjoy this retirement. I'm trying to figure out how we kind of wanted to go gem mining again in North Carolina, since we would have everything at our disposal. No hotel room, none of that, just gas. And it's a beautiful RV. And once he gets finished with it, it's going to be awesome. I'll throw it up on Facebook, which reminds me, any of you Facebook viewers, if you're watching this right now, hit the blooming like button. It would help the algorithm here. I really could use that help. Anybody else is watching? Hey, what's up? My cat's attacking me off camera. I feel like a low budget Johnny Carson up here. Sans guests. Yeah, I'm going to have to get her because she's just doing that. My legs will be bleeding in a minute. And she does that to get even. She's a right rowdy little. I'm telling you what, this cat is so intelligent, and she'll keep it up. At night I have to throw her out because she just will not stop taking things off my dresser. And I used to keep a lot of things out if I wore a particular, like I keep fussing with this one, piece of jewelry or a set of jewelry. Robert usually makes it a whole set. And I kind of graduated into some of these clinky ones during the winter because they need to be more bulky than the thinner ones that you wear in summer. And so at Christmas time, he goes, this is a set that he bought me this year. And I just love it. And it's nice and heavy. Usually doesn't move around. I like this part because the scarf is connected. So here we are. We're doing just a slight, mind you, video on ladies' clothes. And maybe I feel like a young Joan Rivers. I'm sorry, Joan. Probably none of you will know who those names are anyway. That's somebody I would just adore, getting Cat Williams on my podcast. If nobody else in my life ever showed up, to get Cat Williams would be my bucket list. That man is so funny. and he's so nice. He's so truthful. It just would be an honor to speak with him. I'm glad to see that he's back in the mainstream, so to speak. I've been a little worried about, who he's facing down, so to speak. That too isn't probably very healthy. We're not sure. Um, but it's good to see him back in action. Know that his kids have gotten through college and so forth and so on. You're old when you look around and you think, my brother-in-law has how many kids? And he's got 4 grandkids too. And you're like, okay, I got grown grandkids. So yeah, that's probably about right. Most of the time, I think there's just something in, I don't know about you ladies, but in my head, there's like a switch that goes, you're really only 40? You're really only 40? So I don't think about kids or grandkids because that really 40 thing kind of blocks that out. It's very useful. So we haven't been well enough to get all this work done that has to be done, all the outside work in the backyard, and it being 20 like degrees, maybe. And I stress maybe. Um, we have, so if he's not ill and I'm ill, he knows within 12 hours. So his is going to climb back up. And what I'm wondering is how long this plague is supposed to be suffered for to begin with, or what plague it is. I heard something about Omicron. So if anybody hears anything about that, wants to stick that in the chat, be appreciated. Uh, Again, I need all of you people that's out there that watch me hit the like button. It's only going to go for that one shot. It's not going to stay on there for every shot. Just so you know, you get to like either this one or you like all of them. Subscribe. It's free. And again, for entertainment purposes only. But I have to have a certain algorithm out there, guys. So please hit that like bell. That really makes them happy. I don't know why, but it does. And I want to make them happy. And being retired is great. But this type of technology at my fingertips, I just had to do this. Um, and we get viewers and we get some chat. We don't get a lot, enough to pick a particular subject matter. Again, I have friends on Facebook and I have family on Facebook. Right now, most of us are sick, so I may not get but a couple hundred people, but that's great. Whoever's out there, talk. It gives me something to do. And everybody wants me to have something to do. I'm not sure what that's about because I really don't go that far. I didn't think I'd like just being at home. I was so wrong. That little 5-mile round trip that I take, that's why I take it like every 2 weeks because my grandson pegged me, I think. He said, Grandma, you just don't like people. I was like, I don't think I do. Not much. I mean, I'm perfectly happy by myself. But I do enjoy some company. I can't say that I don't. But I'm not one of those who has the whole family over every other day like Everybody Loves Raymond. My son lives just an exit from me, and my granddaughter. My grandson lives just a mile or so up the road from me. And I send them maybe a meme once in a while or a one-line text. I don't call. I don't come over. I don't do all those things. Um, I didn't have that either at that age, and I enjoyed that fact because I was so busy all the time between 2 jobs and college and the baby. There was no room for anything else, and I was never in the same city. In fact, I'm the last surviving member, I believe, of my family now. So even if it's my adopted family, I don't know about the other ones. And that's another story. I ought to write that book. People say I ought to write that book. If you think so, tick that in the comments. Hey, write that book. I've got some stories there, boy. That'll curl your hair, I'll tell you what. We might talk about that on a future date. I was talking about whatever we had seen on the news this morning. I'm seeing nothing but freezing everywhere. I don't like cold. This is why this is called the Deep South, folks. Okay, Georgia. And I'm not as far as middle Georgia, no. But I'm in the sunny part. It's supposed to be sunny. Most of the time at Christmas, you're looking for palm trees. I mean, it's just that's the way Georgia is. And when it goes to 19 and 23 and 21, and I get worried because I'm for sure not moving my car. I haven't driven on ice and snow in a long time. We'll put it that way. Not since I went to Chicago. I flew in and out there a couple times, and I would end up driving my brother's car to go down to the mom's house. So, yeah, I don't like that kind of weather. If it rains here and I don't have to go that day, I'm out. Mm-mm, I'm not going. I had to cancel two VA appointments, and I needed the one for my eyes. I can't. The glasses they gave me, I can't see far away. It blurs out. For those who haven't heard, I have had two surgeries, one on either eye, and I have artificial lenses now. So that hazel look on my eyes is now, I don't know if you can see them very well. Ah, yes. Not a good look, right? They're like a bright green. Almost to me, it's like they have a light behind them just a little bit. It's really wild to have such a different look. For me, it is anyway. That and the weight gain. So I'm still supporting the weight gain. I don't think Robert likes it that much, I must say. I see it. You see the cat's shadow. There she is. She's peeking. Robert bought me a nice little red armchair. Here she comes. Like she doesn't think I'm going to get her. She knows I will. Look at you. There you are. Yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to get them, but none of them seem to like water in the face. So I have particularly good ones that will shoot them from 30 feet away. If a bottle didn't work, I would go and buy one of those super water guns, jam it up really good and just soak her. She won't listen though. She don't listen at all. She doesn't care what we do, just as long as she does what she wants to do, and she pretty much does. We have, again, hopefully we'll be able to get to some of this stuff. We haven't broke the bar in all the way. We had a few friends over a couple times, but everybody's been too sick, and we still got all these renovations that we're doing. He's putting the rest of the hardwood floors in. He's got the stairs all sanded and ready to be fitted with the new floorboards, but you're not going to do that when you feel awful. And when you do feel better, you've got tons of other things you got to get done. Mm, excuse me. Um, and I know I can't help him because I'm talking about like he has to take a chainsaw to this 500-foot tree that thank God missed us and the neighbors and fell like just on the fence in the greenhouse. And I'm like, here I'm thanking God because it didn't hit, but it did hit us really hard. And, I mean, I'm so very upset about my greenhouse. Robert had built the floor in it and everything, and they've had it for years. And it's always been maintained with plastic on the bottom, to make sure I water plants and stuff and not her that beautiful floor. And I mean, and that upset me. But it turns out, I'm pretty sure he can still salvage the floor, but he had to put together shelter for the plants and the poor outdoor animals because that was their shelter too. That's where they were able to get warm and their water was. And we had thrown our old pillows from our patio furniture because they just needed help. The squirrels had really hit them hard this year, and we've had those for about 9 years, I think. So it was time for a new cushions. So we gave them to the outdoor cats in the greenhouse that they could lay around, and underneath the patio table where they would have shade, and they would like to lay there where they could see. So they're just about as spoiled as the ones in the house. So if anybody again knows anything about someone who might be able to reach out to help these animals get a forever home, please put it in the comments. Even if it's just a suggestion, it would be so appreciated. We can't turn our backs on these poor animals. We just can't do it. And no one in our neighborhood will help. When we live in the suburbs, and basically we're all retired. Our new next door neighbor, she was a sweetheart that used to live there. She passed away about 3 Decembers ago, so about 3 years. And a family moved in with 3 children, and they seem to be adorable people, but they're rather standoffish. So I call them hiya neighbors because they'll wave or nod ahead if they think they can't get us saying anything. People are funny nowadays. So we do have a family over there, and they've got, unfortunately, they're dog people. So was I, and I still am. So the dog outside gets teased by the cats is the problem. So we're trying not to upset the new neighbors and the dogs. And so it's a real headache. And I put them all a little plate of their own out there, so they're not in this trough feeding frenzy of trying to eat more than the other guy. and they have a few leftovers, but they'll get them in between the meals until they're finally clean. So I don't know why, but they stopped making paper plates. Well, they're the plastic styrofoam type of that size. They make a size that's smaller and a size that's larger, but the ones that was in the middle, which were saucers, they quit making those. I have no idea why. It was like the toilet paper run at the beginning of COVID. Why? I haven't a clue. I have no idea. If anybody else does, let me know. I see that we're getting a little bit long on our life today, and I didn't want to take that much time. There was something else I wanted to pop out there for everybody. Oh yeah, I remember now. That Miami Mall alien thing. What's is this a thing for a show? Did they actually have a live 10-foot alien? I mean, I saw the footage and I was kind of convinced, but you can about CGI anything these days. So I'm certainly not an expert. I couldn't tell you whether they actually had a 10-foot alien or it was a movie set. I don't know. I was saddened to see too that Alec Baldwin had been charged again. Looks like a pretty serious charge. Um, I don't know what happened that day or how that young lady lost her life. And I don't know who put that live round in there. But I hesitate to think that it was the lead actor and that he would then point it at them and fire. He knew the young lady who died, but he didn't know her well enough that I could tell that where he would have to try to kill her in the serious circumstances, meaning on film. I, I haven't seen the film. I don't know if anybody else has seen the film either, but I just can't believe that the man would go through all those machinations just to kill this young girl, this young director. And it's a horrible thing that she has lost her life. The other young man who was on the cameras was also hurt. So this was one heck of a pistol. This one had some firepower, and I don't know what I somehow missed what they charged him on the first time. So if anybody wants to jump in there and catch me up on that one, I'd love that. It's the same thing that seems to be, like I said, stays newsworthy. Besides the fact that Georgia is getting 19-degree temperatures, which believe me is newsworthy. Because I don't want to be out there. Those guys can go drive somewhere. Robert, I know, can drive anything, anywhere, at any time. I don't worry about him. I worry about the other idiots that can't drive. If it's raining, they can't drive. What is wrong with folk when it's raining? Cats and dogs, and you are on the highway, you do not maintain 80 miles an hour. You just don't do that. It's like a big sign that says, "I'm trying to die. Suicide by automobile." I mean, it's ridiculous. You're supposed to actually go 10 miles under the speed limit. And if you are driving correctly, which I happen to do because I'm a grandma and I like to get there alive. I've had a few accidents, did not like them. Just saying, I'm not a fan. So then I get these idiots that get up there behind me, like I can't go any faster. I can go faster. I just don't have that stupid sign on my car. I'm driving with stupid. No, you're not. You're driving with me, and I'm not stupid. If I intend to arrive alive, I'm going to take it as I want to. If it looks to me, oh no, she don't. She's very sneaky. She was going for the mirror that time. I'm going to have to turn this around because I'm sitting at the bar. You can see this is the bar itself. But this is a huge bar. It goes all the way down. This is just one small corner of the bar. And it goes way down. And then there's a huge mirror on the back wall. And he's got his little refrigerator in here. He's got his ice maker, his blender, all that is on a small table that cozies right up to the bar as if it was built for it. It's grand. I love it up here, but I need to get off the bar. So I would rather be in my studio. But again, you can't, even with both of us retired, either one's sick or the other one is, and it's 19 degrees. And even if this is Georgia, that's cold. I mean, I have seen them out there, though, in the cargo shorts and the hoodies. I have no idea what that's about either. At this point in the game, somebody somewhere should be going, okay, maybe I should wear big boy pants today because it's 19 degrees. I bundle up more than that just to go the 40 feet to the mailbox. I've got hoodies, I've got coats on with hats, gloves. I got knee boots on. I'm ready. For some reason, I've noticed too, when you're getting older, if you get some part of yourself that's cold, it takes like 4 hours to get to stop being cold anymore. I'm like, what is that about? So I did want to tell everybody that I am officially retired. I thought I had to wait another 8, 9 months or whatever it is till my birthday. And Robert fussed at me. So I went ahead. We went down there. I only had to go the one time. And then they called me. And then I was enrolled in Social Security that fast. That just, yeah, you know, Robert's went that fast, but Robert was very ill when they put him in, and he was not on Social Security. He was social disability. And after, thank the Lord that he beat the cancer, they moved him over to Social Security. And I think it was about right time for him. I think he was 64 at the time. He's 4 years older. So we're praying for everybody right now who is ill. We don't know, and I haven't heard what this new thing is. I'm not sure if they know. I can't say that a mask would be a great deterrent, but it would be helpful. I would wear that mask and I would stay my 6 feet apart and use that disinfectant wipes and anything you touch. And I'm talking, I get tired even if I feel well because I got all the doorknobs and I got all the cabinet buttons and the taps, anything that you're going to touch more than once a day. Even once a day is bad enough. But those particular areas, are touched over and over and over. It could be by other people, not just yourself. So you would reinfect yourself, basically. You're feeling better, but you grabbed onto whatever surface, say the back doorknob, and you had cleaned it. You forgot all about going in and out. Bam, you're sick again. So I'm trying to run around every day to disinfect all those at the same time. So by the time I get through all of that stuff, it's like, what was for dinner? I'm like, I don't care. Get a sandwich. Here's some hot chocolate. I don't care. I'm not cooking. He's actually been funny because I think he thinks it's Denny's sometimes. My husband calls down and says, "So you're cooking breakfast?" Like, I'm Denny's, and he's going to put his order in. It never works because if I do breakfast, I like hot cereals. I was raised that way, and that to me is a nice breakfast. He likes the heavier breakfast. So if he's going to make breakfast, he likes to make. And I like my eggs scrambled, but he makes scrambled eggs and French. I don't know what you call them. They look like potato chips, but it's a different way he does his fried potatoes than mine. And his way is very good because, like, I'm not cooking them. I'll be straight up there. I'm not cooking them. So between, like I said, all of the colds, I'm calling them colds basically. If I go with plague, I think we'll never get out of this. And I don't think the country can withstand another 2 years with everybody locked up except for Walmart. Never could figure that either. You'd have 200,000 people out at a rally for Black Lives Matter or whatever cause it was. And they could do that, but the kids couldn't have a graduation because of COVID. So these are 100 kids with maybe 300 in the audience. So you're talking 400 or 500 people, but you get 20,000 to march, none of them wearing a mask. That's good. We're fine with that. Gets me. I don't know. When they torched the police station and police cars and things, I'm like, what in God's name? Do you know the next step here, fellas? Because if you can run up and you can destroy a police car, a police station, that means they need more firepower. And you know what they're going to do, right? I mean, show of hands, okay? They are going to get more firepower. I mean, they were pretty much militarized already before all of that stuff started a couple of years ago. But I guarantee you that now they are militarized and they have been trained in a variety of weapons, of which they have many of. It's like taking a knife to a missile fight. You're not going to get on a good side there. I'm just saying. So everybody you do have a right to carry here. Militias have had to be formed all up and down our border, our southern border. I was yelling at least 5, 6 years ago, why don't we have our militias? Because this is how the United States started. And it actually was America then. And Georgia was one of the original 13 colonies. So Georgia has always been around as American. But everybody was a militia. Your town had a militia. And so when the war started, in the War of 1812 as well, when the Brits come in and said, they said, get out, we don't want no taxes. That's because they wanted to raise our taxes and keep them for themselves, just saying. And so, we have militias to fight this. And they keep going, we're going to build this fence, we're going to build this. So, have you people ever seen Normandy Beach or Omaha Beach or any of them from World War II? It was not just a wall. These people had heavy battery machine guns, heavy battery mortar rounds, dug in concrete bunkers that these guys had to come out of the sea. They had these iron things out and they had the concertina wire. So if you don't want somebody to come into your country, this is the things you're going to have to do. Instead of going, well, we can't stop. And while they were filming this and talking to several Congress people, there's 30,000 cars right behind them on live TV because they don't have a law to stop them. Because when he took office, I would say Biden, I can't say president, I can't do it. The man's a hypocrite, a thief, and many more things I probably can't say. If you can see over me, that's Tiger Rose. She, for some reason, likes to peek down into my standing lamp, which always makes me a little nervous. So I think maybe we're going to wind these up for the day. Throw some chats in there, throw some live in there, folks. Subscribe. You don't even have to watch. It's free. You just hit that bell. I was supposed to also touch on near-death experiences today. There are several good authors. I hate to see anybody, by the way, use Kindle because they do not pay the author. If you're reading these books on a Kindle, they don't pay the author for the book. I don't know why that is, but I just found that out. And I'm talking about Billy Carson and Eric Von Daniken, that whole crowd. If they downloaded their books to Amazon and Amazon puts them on Kindle, they don't get paid. Or if they do, it's a nominal like $3 fee. And normally their book would be like $30, and worth that to me. So I don't want to read anymore on Kindle. When I found out that they were Kindle rather, when I found out they were doing that, I quit reading on Kindle, and I had stopped collecting books because they're very heavy. I always have hardcover, and Robert doesn't like taking them up downstairs. He beat one of my bookcases to death. I kid you not. You can't make this stuff up. The darn thing just wouldn't go, and he just took it apart. It was like the Karate Kid on steroids. I'm serious. So I'm down that bookcase. I can't say I blame him at that point. And he only killed the one bookcase. So, I still got the one I put up there. I still have to get rid of a desk set, which actually has one of the dinosaurs, the bigger monitor system on it. It's like the first Windows, with the stack on it, for the modem. So I've still got that there, and I want to keep that. It still runs fine. I can even print from it if I want to. I can't remember. I think it's Windows XP that's on. I can't remember, but it's still paired to both my printers, so I can do that anytime I want to. Both are color printers, laser printers. So it's time for me to condense and get rid of one of those desks. At the same time, Robert's been throwing stuff in there. So we have a ton of bedding that he's not using. I don't know why we have 40 pillows in there, but apparently we don't need them. So we're trying to get rid of all that stuff. I hate to give anything to Goodwill because Goodwill sells it. Now, and I visit Goodwill as well, but they get this stuff for free. Okay. And their president makes $200 million a year salary. So I cannot give them free stuff, which they're going to make millions on. Okay, their whole thing is a no tax charter for this, that, and the other one. If that was the case, you wouldn't have to buy the clothes. So I like to give everything to the Salvation Army, and you do not have to buy them from the Salvation Army. You do, however, have to show a need. You can't just go through there and say, okay, I need a new coat or whatever, because you just don't want to spend the money to get one, which would be nice. But no, they're for, your house burned down, come get you some clothes. This kind of thing is what it's for. And that's what Goodwill I thought was for. And that they were also, repairing things and so forth, that putting people to work that wanted to work, but were slightly handicapped. So I think that was their mission, I guess, at first. But now when I hear that the president's making all these millions in a salary, I'm not giving them free stuff. I'll leave it on the curb. And it's free. Anybody wants it, get it. I don't care. But you give stuff for free out of the goodness of your heart for people who may not have what they need, but they got to buy it from them. So they keep that $200 million parachute. We call it salary going. So I wanted to put that out there as well. For those of us who do like to give back, make sure you check where that money's going. Follow that money. If you're giving things away and there's somebody on a salary, then you're paying their salary. And that's wrong. If it's supposed to be a donation, it's there for someone who can't afford to do these things. Like I said, a fire burns you out overnight. Kids got to have clothes the next day. So, this is what I thought I was contributing to, and found out that's not the case at all. Along with these people who say that they're there, they're going to help with these animals. Well, if somebody can show me where they're helping the animals, I would appreciate the heck out of it, because I sure ain't found it. I found where I could give them a lot of money so that they could help set animals, but I hadn't seen them said anything about how they would help you with said animals. So I would love some feedback on that if anybody has any. We are surrounded by what are called kill shelters. If the family of cats or dogs or whatever it is that they pick up, if it's pregnant, they're euthanized immediately. And this is horrible. It's horrible to me. So I definitely want to get all that done. And again, the cat's trying to play with stuff she shouldn't, like my lamps. My husband and I are coming up on our 35th anniversary, so it's not like I haven't had them a long time. Those are the ones left that from our first apartment that was furnished with brand new furniture. And like I said, he gave me all that and said, just get what you want. Oh boy, did I have fun with that. And now he did the same thing here when we did all this. So we have a new bar, we have a new china cabinet, we have new furniture, we have new bedding. And, luckily we didn't replace the chest of drawers in the bedding where I had just the mattresses and stuff themselves. And I like that. It was time. You're not supposed to keep a mattress over 10 years. I never knew that. Until recently, because I wondered why he was changing them over fairly quickly. And I was like, what's wrong with it? But I'm getting up with this backache and the neck ache, but I have those all the time anyway. So I can't say that it's always the bed or that the bed is aggravating it, because I could, like, sitting here talking to you guys now. And when I get off, I'll have to go get on the heating pad, like in a reclining position, and put all these oils and patches on. It's fun stuff. I mean, I'm trying to find out if I qualify for Medicaid, Medicare, whichever one that is. I sent the little thing off, so that'll be interesting to find out. I'm also one of those who say, you guys took all my money for unemployment. I want it back. You never gave me a penny of it. You don't get to keep all of it. You give me a service fee of however much per year it took you to take my money. But I believe my money should be returned at some point. It won't be. It's like the life insurance thing. You'll have that on there. You've got your 401 or whatever they have nowadays. Yeah. And then when you retire, where'd that money go? You ain't getting it back. What do you mean you didn't use that for your eyes? Well, we're not giving you that $4,000 back. You need glasses? No. Well, see, we could have done something back then. If I don't laugh, I would probably be so angry. You know what I'm saying? It's such a Ponzi scheme. All of that is, because none of it is actually to help the person. They're also to never tax your wages. Look it up. It's illegal for them to tax your wages. That didn't start until World War II. Okay. Look it up. And it was supposed to have been stopped at the end of World War II. Instead, they kept saying, and I remember my father being so angry. He was in the Navy during World War II and was at Pearl Harbor and lost several brothers. But he was so very angry at all the new taxes, SSI, this, that, and the other. None of that had been on there before. You had the payroll tax, and the payroll tax for city, county, state, literally city, county, state, federal. So you got 4 taxes alone right there. But when they go to look at your earnings at the end of the year, well, you didn't get that money. They did. So your earnings at that was 23,000, even though you made 35,000. The rest of that is in taxes, Medicaid, Social Security, all this, right? No, they still then go ahead and tax you again on the 32,000 you made, but didn't bring home. So that's the second tax. I heard recently also that they had added a second death tax. Personally, I would love to deliver that in person. Yes, I would. Oh, I would love that. I understand too, speaking of or thinking anyway about politics before I sign off, that Nancy Pelosi resigned. I was like, seriously, nobody could put her in jail. She's been insider trading since 1987. They put Martha Stewart in jail. She only had one little stock that she had them flip over. I mean, maybe she did have an insider tip. I don't know. But she sure went to jail for, what was that, a year or something. But now Pelosi and her husband, who made literally millions. I mean, she got there in 86, for God's sakes. If the woman couldn't do anything politically right from 86 to 2024, I'm thinking she owes her salary back to the people. I mean, it's time for the people to stand up and recognize. I did see some new blood in Congress, and the old blood, like Schumer and them, are fighting them tooth and nail. And they're so egregious, and they are so, what's the word? It's almost evil. For me, when I see them, and I go out to or go out of that channel a lot. It's just I used to do that when I worked there. I would go to the Senate chambers and just watch, how laws were made. Well, those laws are made okay, but they're not made where we get something to say about it. We don't get to go, hey, we're not putting $200 billion into the southern border so that everybody gets free food, free phones, free hotels. We're going to get rid of all of the student loans. Well, didn't we pay for ours? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. And when they say they're getting rid of those loans, honey, they're taking that on taxes. That don't go away. Somebody got to pay it. Well, I want to know when the heck we Americans are going to stand up and say that. I remember growing up in the hippie generation, and we weren't going to have the man, as we used to put it, doing this. And yet it's my generation, literally my generation, the baby boomers that are in Congress and have been there for 40 years. Somebody has to, and I mean, seriously, has got to put in that there are term limits. Don't let these people sit there and make millions of dollars on insider trading while doing nothing. They do nothing. They have one job. One. Do you remember how long it took them to get to Katrina when that happened? The hurricane, New Orleans stadium full of people, Boston, all that. Took them 5 freaking days. I started screaming on the second day, where's the National Guard? Where's the National Guard? I mean, and people are dying everywhere. And they wouldn't even let them walk across the bridge to the other side. And I still don't know what that was about. They finally started on the 5th day throwing water out of helicopters. Wow, that was great. When Haiti got hit by the earthquake, we were there less than 24 hours later. We were there. We were there helping. But when it hit on our own shores, and I like Katrina as a good example of that, where were they? Because they certainly were not helping the people of Louisiana that I could see 4 or 5 days. And these people were braving waters that crocodiles and things were in. You understand? I mean, this is Louisiana. There's a crocodile every 5 foot. And you can't see in those waters. Those waters were up to their waists and higher in some cases. And yet they were trying to get to someplace dry. I mean, this is where they were coming from. They weren't going out of a place into the floodwaters, for God's sake. They were trying to get out. And then I watched the helicopters kind of drop those water bottles. I thought, well, that's great. Well, the crocodile might be thirsty. I mean, what? So I still have a pet peeve on that one. If anybody wants to talk about that, throw it in the comments. If you've seen it or not. I see I'm coming up on my hour. So I'm going to have to wrap it up today. Again, those of you who know me, at least throw a like up there. I'm old. I'm tired. I really need that like. They like that the algorithms for YouTube have to apparently be in a certain thing. I have my own channel. It's not, I don't think that I would lose my channel, but I don't want to be up here if I'm not going anywhere and I'm just boring y'all to death. So let's keep this going. There's some more stuff up there. I will respond almost immediately, I must say. I'm still doing the two camera thing, so you have to forgive me. I'm hoping I'm not looking at a tennis match look there today. So, hey, everybody be cool out there, be safe out there, and know that you are appreciated. Thanks. Okay, we're getting